Attack on Federal in Sudan's Kordofan region kills at least 40. US President threatens Nigeria over treatment of Christians. Good afternoon and salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Brendan Paul. United Nations said a drone attack on a funeral in the key city of El Obeid in Sudan's North Kordofan state killed at least 40 people. The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, said the recently attack in the state capital, which is still being held by the government-aligned Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, occurred without specifying when it took place or who was behind it. The attack reportedly occurred amid escalating tensions in the region. The paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces, RSF, is said to be preparing an assault on the city of El Obeid, while Sudan's government forces are mobilizing troops to counter the RSF offensive. OCHA stressed that the security situation in the Kordofan region continues to deteriorate, and it warned of worsening conditions in the area. Earlier, local reports indicated that the attack may have been a drone strike targeting civilians in a village near El Obeid, with local authorities accusing the RSF of being responsible. The conflict between Sudan's military and the RSF has caused thousands of deaths and displaced millions since it erupted in April 2023. US President Donald J. Trump has warned that all forms of aid to Nigeria will be halted and did not rule out possible military action if the Nigerian government fails to curb killings of Christians. The warning followed Washington's decision last week to release Nigeria as a country violating religious freedom. Trump also announced that he has directed the U.S. Department of Defense to prepare for swift military action should Nigeria fail to take firm measures.
I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late.
Meanwhile, Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff General Olufemi Oluyede said on Monday the country faced terrorism, not persecution of Christians, and the Nigerian presidency has said it would welcome U.S. help in fighting insurgents as long as the country's territorial integrity is respected. Nigeria, home to more than 200 ethnic groups practicing Christianity, Islam, and traditional faiths, has a history of coexistence but has also been sporadic violence, often driven by ethnic tensions and competitions over scarce resources. Federal investigators have recovered the flight data and cockpit voice recorders from the wreckage of a UPS cargo jet that crashed and burst into flames during takeoff from Louisville International Airport. At least 9 people were killed, 3 crew members on board and 6 others on the ground, while several more were injured. Officials say the death toll could rise as recovery work continues. The MD-11F aircraft bound for Honolulu went down shortly after takeoff on Tuesday evening, striking several structures beyond the airport perimeter and triggering multiple fires across an industrial area. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency, mobilizing disaster response teams and more than 200 firefighters. The blaze left a debris field stretching half a mile, though nearby facility, including a Ford plant and a convention center, escaped damage. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, said the plane's left engine detached before the crash and confirmed the black boxes were found intact. Louisville Airport reopened early Wednesday, but the affected runway will still close for about 10 days. UPS has temporarily suspended operations at its Worldport Air Cargo Hub as investigation continue. Muslim communities across New York celebrated Zohran Mamdani's historic victory after he was elected mayor, becoming the city's first Muslim and South Asian American to hold the post. Mamdani secured over 50% of the vote, with more than 2 million people turning out. The 34-year-old Democratic Socialist and state lawmaker from Queens defeated independent candidate and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, as well as Republican contender Curtis Sliwa, in one of New York's biggest political upsets in recent years. Supporters describe Mamdani as a symbol of shared struggles for fair wages, affordable housing, and social justice.
Were the more than million who supported this campaign or the others? New Yorkers are facing twin crises in this moment: an authoritarian administration and an affordability crisis. And it'll be my job to deliver on both. It'll be my job to stand up for the city and also to ensure that we do not look at Washington, D.C. as if it is the reason for all of the problems right here in New York City. Many of the issues we are speaking about, they predate President Trump.
For many Muslim New York workers, the win carried deep emotional significance. His campaign centered on improving city affordability, promising a rent freeze, free bus services, universal childcare, and city-run grocery stores. Mamdani also pledged to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030 and to increase taxes on corporations and millionaires to fund social programs. The Nasser Hospital in southern Khan Yunis has received the bodies of 15 Palestinian prisoners under a body exchange agreement implemented during the ongoing ceasefire. The hospital stated this marks the 10th batch, bringing the total number of bodies received under the deal to 285. The Nasser Hospital in southern Khan Yunis has received the bodies of 15 Palestinian prisoners under a body exchange agreement implemented during the ongoing ceasefire. The hospital said this marks the 10th batch, bringing the total number of bodies received under the deal to 285. The return was made in exchange for the latest remains handed over from Gaza, including those of Israeli-American soldier Itai Chen. Under the U.S. brokered ceasefire agreement reached on 10 October, Israel is to return 15 Palestinian bodies for every Israeli hostage's body recovered from Gaza. The group has since released all surviving hostages and handed over 21 bodies. Israel accused Hamas of delaying the repatriation of deceased hostages, while Palestinian officials say efforts have been hampered by bodies still trapped beneath Gaza's rubble. Meanwhile, Hamas has urged mediators and the International Committee of the Red Cross to provide equipment and personnel to recover the remaining bodies. Bolivia's Supreme Court ordered the immediate release of former President Janine Áñez on Wednesday, ending several years of detention linked to legal proceedings stemming from her interim administration in 2019. The ruling comes weeks after Bolivia's October runoff election delivered a historic defeat to the ruling Movement to Socialism (MAS) party, which had accused Áñez of orchestrating a coup that brought her to power during a 2019 political crisis, shifting congressional control to the center-right opposition. The Supreme Court annulled ordinary criminal proceedings against Áñez and redirected her case to a trial of responsibilities, a special process reserved for former heads of state. The judiciary has ordered her release so she can defend herself under that process. Áñez was arrested in March 2021 and spent 20 months in pre-trial detention before being convicted in 2022 of violating constitutional norms that safeguard democratic order. Her administration oversaw deadly crackdowns on protests, during which 22 civilians were killed. Áñez denied all charges against her.
Tutup tingkap dan pintu untuk kekal dingin dan lebih jimat.
Asian fashion giant Shein opened its first ever physical store in Paris under tight police security. Stay tuned. And welcome back. The U.S. Supreme Court justices expressed skepticism on Wednesday over the legality of President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. The case seen as a major test of presidential powers with global economic implications. Both conservative and liberal justices questioned whether a 1977 law intended for national emergencies gave Trump the authority to impose broad trade tariffs, or if he had overstepped powers reserved for Congress. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who attended the hearing, said the administration would rely on other legal grounds to keep the tariffs in place should the court rule against Trump.
That we were at a tipping point in the economy with these trade deficits. That was a problem. And, you know, sometimes the best tariffs are the ones that never get enforced. That, you know, the president threatened 100% tariffs after the Chinese on October 8th threatened to put export controls on rare earth magnets from Chinese products that had 0.01%. Every camera, every iPhone here would have been subject to a Chinese control. Because he had the ability to threaten the 100% tariff, he was able to successfully execute on foreign policy.
The case stems from appeals after lower courts found Trump's actions exceeded his legal powers under the 1977 statute, following challenges by affected businesses and 12 Democratic-led states. Asian fashion giant Shein has opened its first ever physical store in Paris under tight police security. This is as the French government announced a temporary suspension of the company's online platform over the sale of childlike sex dolls. Hundreds of shoppers flocked to the brand's new outlet on the 6th floor of the historic BHV department store located across from Paris City Hall. Riot police cordoned off the area and kept protesters at bay as crowds lined up to enter. Authorities said Shein's digital operations would remain suspended until the company complies with French regulations. The store opening has sparked renewed criticism of the brand's fast fashion business model, accused of poor labor practices and heavy environmental impact. Despite the backlash, long queues formed outside the store, with shoppers citing affordability and curiosity as key draws. Founded in China in 2012 and now headquartered in Singapore, Shein's arrival in France has been met with protests from unions, politicians, and fashion industry leaders. Britain's King Charles has presented the 2025 Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering to 7 pioneers of modern machine learning at a ceremony held at St. James's Palace on Wednesday. The £500,000 annual award honours engineers' innovations that deliver broad benefits to society. This year's laureates include Joshua Bengio, Geoffrey Hinton, John Hopefield, and Jan LeCun, recognized for laying the conceptual foundations of neural network machine learning. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang and Bill Daly were awarded for developing the computing platforms that enabled those systems to scale, while Fei Li was honored for creating ImagineIt, a landmark dataset that advanced computer vision research. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang described the recognition as terrific and said he was proud to share it with fellow innovators. At the same event, King Charles also presented the 2024 prizes to wind energy experts Andrew Garrett and Hendrik Stiesdal for their contributions to industrializing high-performance wind turbines. The Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering, established to spotlight engineering excellence and inspire future innovators, is awarded annually by an independent foundation. Thousands of Sikh pilgrims thronged the streets of Nankana Sahib on Wednesday to celebrate the 556th birth anniversary of Baba Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of Sikhism. More than 2,100 Indian Sikh pilgrims were granted visas by Pakistan's High Commission in New Delhi for the 10-day pilgrimage, which runs from 4th to 13th November. The devotees cross into Pakistan via the Wagah border and will visit several historic gurdwaras linked to Guru Nanak's life, many of which date back to before the partition of India. Pilgrims expressed gratitude for the warm reception, saying the journey carried deep spiritual meaning despite ongoing tensions between the two countries. Guru Nanak, born in 1469, is what is now Nankana Sahib near Lahore, is revered as the founder of Sikhism, making the pilgrimage one of the faith's most significant annual gatherings. And on to local news, Malaysia and Singapore have strengthened cross-border security ties through the inaugural Malaysia-Singapore Joint Working Committee meeting on preventing and combating transnational crime held on Wednesday in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. The meeting, hosted by Malaysia's Home Ministry, was co-chaired by the Ministry's Secretary-General, Datuk Dr. Awang Alik Jaman, and Singapore's Permanent Secretary for Home Affairs Development, Tan Chai Hee. It was convened under the Malaysia-Singapore Memorandum of Understanding on the Prevention and Combating of Transborder Crime, signed in November 2024 by Home Ministers Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail and K. Shanmugam. Discussion focused on joint efforts to curb drug smuggling, terrorism, cybercrime, and border security threats. Both sides agreed to enhance intelligence sharing, exchange best practices, and explore the use of artificial intelligence in enforcement operations. The two ministries also committed to expanding cooperation through ASEAN platforms, including the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Transnational Crime and the ASEAN Senior Official Meeting on Transnational Crime. The initiative reflects both nations' shared commitment to regional security, aligning the pledges made during the 11th Malaysia-Singapore Leaders' Retreat and Malaysia's broader Madani and 13 Malaysia Plan goals for a safer, more resilient ASEAN region.
Bersihkan penapis penghawa dingin dan tetapkan 24 darjah Celsius untuk lebih jimat.
Garnacho rescues Chelsea with equaliser in Carabao Champions League draw. Stay tuned. We kick off our sports segment with local news. Johor Darul Tazim JDT displayed near total dominance to defeat Shanghai Shenhua FC 3-1 in their AFC Champions League Elite ACL Elite 2025-26 group stage match at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium last night.
JDT and Shanghai Shenhua both secured their first victory of the season.
The Southern Tigers, coached by Cisco Munoz, started the game with high intensity and within the first 5 minutes, threatening attempts from Aguer Akechia Barutia, Oscar Arribas and Jonathan Silva forced goalkeeper Bao Yashiong into fine saves. In the 18th minute, JDT were awarded a free kick after Arif Aiman Mohammad Hanafi was brought down while attempting to break through Shanghai Shenhua's defence. JDT made an early tactical change in the 19th minute, bringing on Muhammad Afiq Fazail to replace Aguer Akeche in order to strengthen midfield control. Oscar Arribas' free kick attempt in the 20th minute was parried away by Luis Asue, while Jairo da Silva almost found the net in the 22nd minute, but his effort was ruled out for offside. The national traditional archery team concluded the 2025 Ulsan Korea Traditional Archery World Cup with an impressive performance. The championship saw Malaysia bringing home 2 silver medals and 1 bronze. National athlete Muhammad Shah Idzuan Ahmad Sabri stood out by winning a silver medal in the individual Tazka Shield 90 meters category and securing 3rd place overall in the world individual ranking.
Cabaran sana lebih pada angin, cuaca, sebab sini panas, sana sejuk. Tu keadaan sana kita tak expect lah kita boleh shoot dalam keadaan macam tu. Alhamdulillah.
Selepas ni insyaAllah mungkin kami dengan team manager Mungkin dengan rakan-rakan semua kita akan berkumpul. Mungkin kita akan check balance balik. Kita punya apa perlu kita perbaiki balik, apa perlu kita pertingkatkan, apa perlu kesediaan untuk menghadapi kejuaraan-kejuaraan yang besar yang seperti yang di Korea ni lah.
And back to football, Alejandro Garnacho ensured Chelsea returned from Azerbaijan with a point as he came off the bench to equalise in their 2-2 draw away to Karabakh in the Champions League on Wednesday. The former Manchester United forward fired a sweetly struck left foot effort into the net after 53 minutes of an enthralling contest which had slipped from Chelsea's grasp. Brazilian teenager Estevão put the visitors ahead with a neat finish in the 16th minute, but after a slow start, Karabakh came alive in the noisy Taufik Bahramov Republican Stadium. Leandro Andrade steered home a rebound in the 29th minute to cancel out Chelsea's lead after Camilo Duran had shrugged off Jorel Hato and cut in to send a shot against the upright. Things went from bad to worse for the London side before half-time as Marko Jankovic converted a penalty awarded for a handball by the inexperienced Hato, who endured a tough night. Halfway through the 36-team group phase, Chelsea had 7 points, while Karabakh, who lost to Chelsea by an aggregate of 10-0 in the Champions League in 2017-18, also have 7. Elsewhere, Erling Haaland came back to haunt Borussia Dortmund with a clinical finish against his former team, while Phil Foden bagged a brilliant brace as Manchester City cruised to a 4-1 victory in the Champions League on Wednesday to climb to 4th in the table. Pep Guardiola's men have 10 points after 4 of the 8 league phase games, while Dortmund fell to 14 on 7 points. City were dominant from the outset, and England international Foden opened the scoring in the 22nd minute when he collected a pass from Tijani Reinders and finished with a crisp left-footed strike from just outside the box and past goalkeeper Gregor Kobel. Haaland, who has 27 goals in 17 games for a club and country, doubled the lead 7 minutes later, finishing coolly from the centre of the box after a blistering run and assist from Jeremy Doku. Foden completed his double in the 57th minute in almost identical fashion to his first, latching on to a pass from Reinders before bending a curling shot just inside the far post. Waldemar Anton pulled one back for the Bundesliga club for a free kick in the 72nd minute to the delight of Dortmund's famous yellow wall of travelling supporters. But Ryan Cherki put the game well out of reach with a goal in injury time. Hosts Vissel Kobe sailed a 1-0 win over Ulsan Hyundai on Wednesday as the reigning J-League champions returned to the top of the Eastern League phase standings in the Asian Champions League Elite. Gian Patrick scored the only goal of the game to earn Takayuki Yoshida's side their 3rd win in 4 games and ensure Kobe bounced back from losing 4-3 to Gangwon FC in the previous round of matches. The result takes Kobe back into first place in the 12-team standings as the league phase hit the midway point. The first 8 finishers in both West and East Asia will advance to the knockout rounds in March, with the quarterfinals, semi-finals and final to be played in Saudi Arabia in April. Kobe had dominated throughout at Misaki Park Stadium, with Yuya Osako clipping the top of the crossbar with a shot on the turn in the 35th minute. But the Japanese outfit had to wait until the 58th minute to go in front, when Patrick finished off an attacking move with a left foot effort that bobbled beyond goalkeeper Moon Jung-in. Bayer Leverkusen's Patrick Schick came off the bench to grab the only goal of the game in a 1-0 away win over Benfica on Wednesday that condemned Jose Mourinho's side to their 4th straight defeat in this season's Champions League group stage. The Portuguese hosts dominated the first half, hitting the woodwork twice through Dodi Lukebakio and Nicolas Otamendi as they racked up chance after chance, and they came to rue their wasteful finishing in the 65th minute. Benfica thought they had averted the danger when keeper Anatoly Trubin parried Schick's initial shot, but defender Samuel Dahl inexplicably headed the ball back across the goal to the Leverkusen substitute striker, who broke the deadlock with a looping header. The defensive error provoked an angry response from Mourinho, and 3 minutes later he made a triple substitution to shake things up, with Dahl replaced by Norwegian winger Andreas Schelderup. The switch gave a much-needed boost to the left side of the Benfica attack, and Schelderup teed up Luka Bacchio for another excellent chance in his 86 minutes. But the Belgian completely mistimed his effort, and it was easily saved. A first win for the campaign for the Bundesliga side lifted Leverkusen to 21st in the table on 5 points, while Benfica are second from bottom, having failed to earn a point, with only goal difference keeping them above Dutch side Ajax Amsterdam. And in tennis, Ukrainian lucky loser Vitaly Sachko upset world number 13 and third seed Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan to reach his first ATP Tour quarter-final at the Moselle Open in Metz on Wednesday. The 38-year-old overcame his second set slumps to bag a 7-5, 3-6, 6-4 victory and end Bublik's hopes of finishing the year inside the top 10 rankings. Italian former world number 6 Matteo Berrettini also advanced to the quarters following a 7-6, 6-3 win over Australian Alexander Vukic. Lorenzo Musetti ended the run of Stan Wawrinka in the Hellenic Championship in Athens on Tuesday. The Italian, seeded second, came from a set down to beat the Swiss veteran, who had received a wildcard entry in the 250 event, 4-6, 7-6, 6-4. Up next for Musetti in the quarterfinals is Frenchman Alexandre Muller, who edged Argentine Thomas Martin Etcheverry 6-7, 7-6, 7-6, while third seed Luciano Darderi of Italy suffered a 4-6, 6-2, 6-3 loss against Serbian Miomir Kecmanovic. Amanda Anisimova battled past Iga Swiatek 6-7, 6-4, 6-2 in a decisive WTA finals match on Wednesday to reach the semi-finals alongside Elena Rybakina and keep her title hopes alive on debut. Swiatek, who crushed Anisimova 6-love, 6-love in the Wimbledon final before losing to her at the US Open, took the first set in a tiebreak, but the American fought back with powerful forehands to level and seal victory in the decider. Earlier, Rybakina extended her unbeaten run with a 6-4, 6-4 win over alternate Ekaterina Alexandrova after Madison Keys withdrew due to illness. The Kazakh overcame early pressure using her big serve to secure another straight sets win in the Serena Williams group. On Thursday, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka faces Coco Gauff for a semi-final spot from the Steffi Graf group, while Jessica Pegula meets already eliminated Jasmine Paolini. That's it on World Today. In our top story, US President threatens Nigeria over treatment of Christians. Tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and Soloran Berita RTM. Alternatively, you can stream us live on RTM Click's website and mobile application. Before we leave, let's take a look at a supermoon phenomenon that glows in some part of the world. Till then, I'm Brendan Paul, Malaysia Madani, Rakyat, Disantuni. Thank you for watching and take care.